3-hour sound check. This is my first time playing with in-ears. Everything was fucking spot on.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this like big grand intro. It's at the Whiskey, so you're walking down those stairs, and we were all out before her. Drummer starts the track. No click in the ears.
Oh,
I completely blew it, but like I didn't know when to start, so we had to start the song over.
wow.
Yeah, really embarrassing. She actually covered it so well that nobody even knew that it was a fuck up. But I mean, that's not my fault though.
No, you weren't. You weren't provided with the tools to succeed.
Yeah, I don't know whose fault it was, but I know it wasn't mine.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah. You had in-ear monitors, and you weren't given the shit that you needed to actually
That
play.
we checked for 3 fucking hours to make sure it was there.
Maybe they were tired after checking so much.
Maybe so. Anyways, yeah, that sucked.
Welcome to Remember the Times podcast. I'm Mitch, joined by AJ.
We're back for
Woo!
episode 2.
We did it. Well, we're currently doing it.
We're currently doing it. I am, do I title this one? Or should I just say it later?
I mean, maybe the title will organically reveal itself through our conversation.
That's fair. Okay.
I am enjoying the whiskey that AJ gave me on our last episode. Slipknot whiskey. It's whiskey from Slipknot.
Sponsor
us, please.
Or like, you can take one of my bands out on tour or something.
Yeah, I mean, like literally anything.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Just, if Slipknot shared a video, that'd be super cool.
That'd be super sweet.
Notice me, Slipknot.
So we are on episode 2 here. For all of you that didn't hear episode 1, we're going through my life and Mitch's life as a musician and all the craziness that happens at each show. We started all the way back at the beginning, back in 1998. First gig was in 1999, and that's where we left off. The lineup that performed at that show only happened once. I didn't say why, but you're going to find out now.
It was a cliffhanger.
It was a cliffhanger.
And you left us hanging on that cliff, and I lost sleep over this. I could not wait until we got back here to record again because I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't around for any of this stuff.
I'm sure you heard the story back when we first met you.
Yeah, but I probably don't remember. It probably wasn't that important to me.
So, yeah. I mean, who cares? At all, really. So, the band started off as me, my brother Chris on drums, our good buddy James Grant on vocals and guitar. We had our buddy Joe on bass and David on keyboards. And I'm going to be honest, after that show, I just don't think we felt the need of a keyboard player in our hopeful punk band. We didn't even say anything. I just think we just stopped calling, to be honest. Like, I don't know, as 12-year-olds would do.
Well, this was also the time of landlines. There weren't cell phones or anything, so it was a lot easier to just ghost a person.
True. And to be fair, he switched to public school.
Oh, ew.
Yeah, right?
Oh, with the commoners like me.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, it was just kind of like whatever. And so that's out. Now we're down to 4 people. And the other reason is that James's little brother, Sean, who was Mitch's MVP for doing the amazing Spice Girls lip sync at the end of last show.
Which we still haven't figured out what song it was. I
think
I wanted to be the la 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 la.
I think it was If You Want to Be My Lover, whatever you call it.
That's boring.
Yeah.
Pick a B-side.
Right? Come on, a deep cut.
Yeah, some of those Spice Girls deep cuts.
Anyways, he started playing bass and wanted to join. To be honest, I think more so, their mom wanted him to join as well. Which we wanted to. We were closer with Sean, let's be honest. But I think Mrs. Grant had a hand in this because we set up a contest between Joe and Sean to see who would get the bass slot in this extremely budding band here.
That is very savage and very Hunger Games of you guys.
Yeah, it was brutal. I wasn't even in the contest, and I was feeling embarrassed. We brought them over to where we're sitting at my parents' house. Well, in the garage that used to be here.
Yeah, this position that we're in right now used to be the detached garage that you and Chris shared as a bedroom.
Yeah,
and
this
our
is
practice
basically,
space.
I would say this was maybe the front door or a
Maybe,
desk
yeah.
maybe we're sitting at. So we brought Sean and Joe over. We based them on 3 categories: look, performance, and just overall playing.
So you guys are judging Joe and Sean on look. This is coming off of your only show where everybody wore backwards hats and beanies and sunglasses and
looked like
John
Limp Bizkit.
Elway jerseys.
Yeah.
All right, but you're in a good position to judge people on their looks and how they look on stage.
I mean, I think every 12-year-old is like the authority.
I mean, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
12-year-old kids are fucking vicious.
And this would, I would say this was more vicious. Whatever. But so
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but
no.
when they came over, did they know that's what they were coming over for?
Yes.
Okay. It wasn't like, hey, like we're gonna play Mario Kart, and then they
No.
showed up and just like, just kidding, it's a base off.
To be fair, you nailed it. We did do that right afterwards.
You played Mario Kart right
Yeah.
afterwards. Well,
We went back up.
What else do kids do?
Yeah. We rode bikes.
Well, now they're doing TikTok and mushrooms. So
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. We never did mushrooms.
Or TikTok.
Well, we didn't have TikTok. We didn't have anything. There wasn't GPS. There was nothing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna admit to anything on
Which
the
will
camera.
the no GPS will lead to a lot of fun stories later on down the road. But for now, we're at this amazing bass contest, and Sean and Joe both showed up, with sunglasses and beanies and oversized shirt and jeans. So again, not punk rock. Could have just thrown us right into the Linkin Park Limp Bizkit thing. I don't know what we were doing.
They both get a 3 on the look category.
Yeah, not good. Bass playing, I'm sure they were fine at the time. Sean had just started, but Sean's a pretty damn good bass player, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he also, as we would later find out, has fantastic energy on stage. I don't know if Mrs. Grant had a little, you better get your fucking brother in the band kind of thing. But Sean won. Sean won the contest. Joe was out. It was amicable. Like I said, we went and played Mario Kart right afterwards, or probably Tony Hawk at the time. But so that was it. 2 Groups of Brothers was the punk band. Oh my God. I forgot to tell the name of the band last episode. I'm just going to say it real quick because it's really funny.
Yeah.
The first time we played, we were called the Camouflage Ferraris.
That's super punk rock.
We were doing some ticker tape rally. It was like a stocks thing that they were trying to teach 6th graders. James and Joe's little project was called the Camouflage Ferraris. Yeah, so we called ourselves that. Fast forward to this point in time. Now there was a new band. We were way more punk rock. We went by the Ugly Americans at that point.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Man, you guys were like really like
Ahead
you
of
guys
our
were
time.
willing to talk about the important stuff that a lot of 12-year-olds weren't.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
Just really changing the world with that band name and forcing Americans to look back at themselves and say, "Am I the ugly one?"
I mean, if that's what that meant, it could have been. I don't know exactly.
It was
I
a
didn't come up
different
with it.
time. So if you were actually talking about people being physically ugly, that's not cool now.
Right.
But when you were a 12-year-old in 1999, that was funny.
It was.
That's funny stuff.
I mean, that's kind of like everybody says that to each other. Something
Yeah.
like that. Something super mean.
Yeah,
Especially our group of friends were like excessively mean to each other.
it's true. and I feel like that's something that I need to speak to my therapist about.
Yeah, it's going to come up. But, I hold you accountable. That's basically what this is. You're not getting anything by me here.
Nothing makes you take a really long walk like being constantly fat shamed by your friends.
To be fair, it really had nothing to do with it at that point. Like, all right, so you were that kid in the group?
Yeah.
I'm the short kid in the group, 100%. Even though Sean, our bass player, and like Fran, our other friend Fran, we're all the same fucking height, but for some reason, I'm the short guy.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that
You
sticks.
were the only one who dared to play basketball.
That's fair.
And short people are not allowed on the basketball court. And you tried to force your way into a space that was not designed for you, and you deserve to be shunned for it.
I'm not saying I'm not short. I am below average height, but I just think it was. I got the raw deal. There was like 4 of us that are this height.
I think if you look like worldwide, we're all like about average, maybe even a little bit above average height.
Am I?
I'm gonna say the average height of males is 5'1".
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm crushing it.
And
then.
that's science, and I definitely didn't just make that number up.
Yeah. But
So we're all super tall.
So yeah,
is the moral of this entire episode.
So I got stuck with that. You even got sick and lost 30 pounds one summer.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
And you were still a fat kid.
I'm still a fat kid.
It's just like that's. We were young, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, I was the skinniest and most in shape that I probably will ever be, and I was the fat kid.
I don't even know how you got that because, we were in football, we were wrestlers, we were actively losing weight because we had to make weight,
Yeah,
unhealthily so.
Yeah,
and you were still the fat kid.
It's
just
brought to you by body dysmorphia.
Yeah. Couldn't have been in better shape in our entire lives.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
And yeah, so there you are. But I'm still short, so
yeah,
that's how it is.
And I'm definitely in better shape now than I was in high school.
And then a wrestler who worked out 6 hours a day.
Yep,
Absolutely.
Yep.
Of course, I feel you there. Nevertheless, back to 1999. So we got 2 brothers in the band now, James and Sean, and me and my brother Chris. We did not play another live show through middle school, but we definitely, I think we just really integrated ourselves into the punk rock. We understood punk more. We listened to it more. That was our thing. Shortly after that first performance, me and Chris went to our first live show, 98 Mute. For any of you guys who don't know who they are, they were like Pennywise's little brother band. Super awesome punk rock band. We went to their CD release show at the then Australian Bite, now is the Picture House in Redondo.
So I remember 98 Mute from middle school because my older brother had a 98 Mute album that my mom took away from him. And that was how I was introduced to them, was 98 Mute was it was so filthy and terrible. And she hid the album, she stashed it away in a little center closet, and then we just found it and took it out.
Which one was it? What was that?
It was the one that the album cover was. It was one of their folders from high school.
Oh yeah, the first one.
Yeah. So my brother had that one, and it had something in the album about being anti-cop or something about police that my mom was just get this out of our house.
Those
this
HB
is
cops.
filth. This is terrible. Yeah, the HB cops are so mean.
Just breaking up high school parties left and right.
Honestly, how dare they?
Yeah.
But I remember finding it and being this is some coveted horrible thing that I'm gonna go listen to it in the back. And that was my introduction. I think even to punk rock in general.
Was that
because I was listening to Weird Al Yankovic in '97 because I was
awesome.
How do you say? I was an absolute nerd.
And now you're a computer guy for work, so
yeah. So I became super cool.
Yeah, D&D regular. Awesome.
It's I don't know if you've seen Netflix's Stranger Things, but D&D is coming back and it's super popular.
I watched the shit out of that show.
Yeah, that's my upcoming next podcast is going to be
D&D.
Yeah, it's going to be me playing D&D by myself.
That I will watch.
Oh no, critical failure.
So yeah, 98 Mute. That was our first show. My dad would not let us go in the pit, but we were just I was just oh my God, I got to do that. The energy at that show was insane. We went to, we would go to the Vandals Christmas show every year at the Grove in Anaheim. Finally got to go in the pit, got the crap beaten out of us, saw the Guttermouth at the Glass House a bunch. This isn't punk, but I was at a basketball tournament in Vegas, and Chris and James and our old bass player Joe accompanied me. And I was walking by, we were walking through the casino, and on one of the slot machines, there was an advertisement for Kiss. They were just playing that night. We begged my dad to go, and somehow he let us go all by ourselves, and it was that was epic. Ted Nugent opened for him. He sacrificed
the Nuge?
The Nuge. He sacrificed a buffalo head on stage. He shot an arrow through a buffalo head on stage.
He's nothing if not on brand.
All the time. And
I brought my trusty crossbow.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot this stuffed bison head.
Like, maybe not do that with like 20,000 people around you. I don't know.
Whatever.
But he did it, and he made the shot. But yeah.
It was special effects. He didn't actually do it.
I mean, it looked really real to me, but who knows?
I love that story started off with, this isn't punk, but I was at a basketball tournament in Las Vegas. I thought that's where you were ending it. I didn't know there was actually a concert involved.
Yeah, that was our second show was seeing Kiss in Vegas. That's not bad.
That's pretty cool.
Super into the Detroit Rock City movie at the time. So, but yeah, so again, we didn't play again for the rest of middle school. We learned a ton of covers, which carried over into high school. We learned Hybrid Moments and She by the Misfits. We learned Drink Drank Punk by Anti-Flag. 100 Proof by 80 Fingers Louie. I know we did I Wanna Get Mohawk by AFI. We tried to write a couple of originals. We did complete one, Sold My Soul, if you remember.
I'm aware of the song.
Which is not recorded yet.
Oh.
We bought, or I'm sure my parents bought us a 4-track cassette tape.
Oh, you didn't buy it with your salary?
Yeah, with my salary going to fucking school. We set up a 4-track cassette tape recorder in the middle of the room with one mic, and that recorded drums, vocals, bass, guitar all at once. As I'm sure you remember, it was fantastic recordings. I'm going to be honest, they probably sounded as good as all the original Misfits recordings. Like, I don't think it was that far off the mark.
The original Misfits recordings were, they were, I read about this. They were tracked on, it was a sundial with a magnifying glass that burnt an actual track in a clay disc, and then they threw that in a fire, and then they recorded that with a single 8-track player.
You're lying.
What? No.
Doesn't sound any much better than that.
But see, the thing is, I sounded super confident when I was saying it.
It's true.
So obviously, it's mostly true.
Right. Way to go, Mitch. His impressive lie.
Thank you. That being said, the old Misfits recordings are among my favorite albums to listen to, and I don't get why, because it does sound like it was recording inside of a washing machine.
The songs are just amazing. Yeah. There's nothing to it. Doesn't matter. Songs are great. And I mean, I would dare I say our songs are not as good, but
what?
The quality was the same.
Yeah, the quality level was probably about the same, maybe even better because you had better technology available.
It was 20 years later.
Yeah.
We did try and up it once. We started writing a second song, and we tried to record it with a computer program.
What?
That did not work, and the song was never finished.
Was that the same computer program that you guys used to record your own farts?
Man.
Well, it wasn't your farts, so calm down.
That's true. I honestly, I was too self-conscious for such a thing. But
I've been in bands with you for about 20 years. Can't say I've ever heard you fart. And that is more impressive to me than somebody ripping one out.
I'm a gentleman. Anyways, so that's all we did for the rest of middle school.
Anyways,
learn songs. We were in a band that learned covers and wrote one song in 3 years. Very impressive.
It's called being a prolific songwriter.
Absolutely, we were taking our time.
Yeah.
And then it happened. We aged out of Catholic school. Enter high school. I did not make it into Catholic high school.
What?
Shocker, I didn't have the grades. So I went to Miracosta. Chris, my parents, I think the thinking was that I barely made it through all 9 years at Martyrs. There was no way he was going to. So enter public school for Chris. And James went to Loyola High School. up in LA. So he had the grades to get in. But the band proceeded. And in the beginning of ninth grade, we entered the hometown fair. Not talent show, Battle of the Bands. But you had to try out. The tryout was at the Joslin Center, which I know you're familiar with.
I've been there.
It's another all-purpose room for the city, basically. Am I right?
It's weird that cities just have big empty spaces. They're like,
Right.
hey, we're gonna have buffets here, and we're also gonna have a bunch of high school kids playing bands.
Yeah, I don't know. They have there's like
Multi-purpose room.
Yeah, it's for whatever.
It's just a big empty space. Do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna text you the picture, but our phones are busy at the moment.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good segue into some housekeeping. We're recording this on our cell phones.
Because technology is coming.
I like to point. I like to work both camera angles, and then when I was going back to edit the last episode, turns out my phone only recorded 6 minutes of the entire episode.
It's a damn shame.
I mean, is it?
Not really. Who's
we're
watching
short
our
one
YouTube
angle.
anyways?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's upset about there only being one camera angle, like,
we're sorry.
we're so sorry.
This is just the beginning.
It's an audio medium.
Yeah.
And that's why we're not using good microphones or sound. So basically, we're crushing it.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
honestly, at this point, I don't even know if this camera's working.
I don't
So
know.
we'll find out probably tomorrow.
Let's hope that one is.
How good would it be? Oh, yeah, good. Get up. How good would it be
Yep, still going.
if none of these cameras or the computer were recording any of the stuff
That'd be
that we're
amazing.
doing?
And I can't tell you all the surprises over again. You're going to remember them now.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyways, please.
Where were we?
Please
Yeah.
continue.
We're in high school now.
Felt like an opportunity to do
I'm
some
15. I'm not 12. I'm 15. We're far better musicians. Yeah. So our first show in 3 years is the tryouts for the Battle of the Bands. If you make the tryouts, you play during the fair weekend in front of maybe people, depending.
They set up the stage right next to the beer garden, was what I
Yeah.
remember. So there's a guaranteed crowd of people who don't want to hear you
True.
that
True.
are at the only spot in the entire fair where they can drink beer.
So this is September 2001, right when we entered high school, Miracosta High School in Manhattan. So it's very possible that I had met you already because we had been in school for about a week or two, and we were in the same science class together, which I will definitely revisit next episode. But for now, it's possible I met you. If not, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to go anyways. I was a Hermosa Beach local.
Yeah,
I wasn't about to go to Manhattan Beach hometown
No, why would
fair.
you do that?
It's not my hometown. That's all I know.
So we're at the tryouts. It's very possible that this was on September 11th. 9/11.
Are you saying that you caused it?
Never know.
I mean, you can't say that you didn't.
All right, no more whiskey for you, Mitch.
I'm getting controversial.
It was either that day or like a day or two afterwards because I remember False Alliance. They were a big local band at the time.
Yeah.
They said something on stage about it, like everyone's in our thoughts, or I hope it's going well over there. Just remember that. So that's kind of wild, but
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
yeah, that it was that day and we were still doing stuff. I also remember. Sadly, we just found out Mike Cody, who just recently passed, a schoolmate of ours. His band, the Sticky Bandits, Home Alone reference.
One of my favorite band names that I've ever heard.
Right? I was very jealous of that.
Yeah. It's one of those band names that when you hear it, I remember we were playing with them and I was just like, God damn it, why didn't we come up with that name?
God damn it.
That is such a cool name.
And
and they were really good too.
They were like a sweet punk band. I remember they covered Rock in the Free World.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't really it was a punk band. Like he didn't sing it. He like talked it.
Yeah.
Feeling
kind of yell.
Yeah. But that's the main stuff I remember. Besides the performance, I remember Mike and it being that close to 9/11. So we kind of figured out our punk rock thing a little more. Chris had plaid pants on, and a Rancid shirt.
That's starting to look a little bit more punk
That's
rock.
right,
Like in
yeah.
my mind's eye.
Yeah.
When I think punk rock,
I had
pants.
red Dickies, a backwards hat that
Nope.
I got at the swap meet.
Okay, swap meet.
Yeah. And a Guttermouth shirt on.
Okay.
Friendly People album shirt. James was borrowing one of Chris's bowling shirts. I think it was a Simpsons one. I don't know. He was wearing a bowling shirt.
So not punk rock.
So not punk rock. Yeah. And then Sean was wearing a shirt and then a muscle shirt over the top of that said Big Bad Strong, which is the 3 words I would use to describe Sean.
If you put me on the spot, you say, come up with 3 words to describe Sean. He's big, he's bad, he's strong.
That's a Grant term in general, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's both of them are terrifying people.
I just love. I also love the imagery of the muscle shirt on top of a regular shirt.
Yeah,
because you got to let your regular shirt peek through. So
yeah,
you're getting closer.
We're getting there. We're getting there on that.
2 out of the 4 of you guys.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but so there's that. We're sitting there. We hadn't played a lot. This is only our second time out, so I was still nervous. I think other people were nervous too because so remember, if you remember, our name was Ugly Americans at this point. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say which of the other members decided or was trying to do this, but they wanted to right before. We had already entered as the Ugly Americans, so we were going to get introduced as Ugly Americans at this. But somebody wanted to go up and say that we are the "Tell me this, my baby, it doesn't matter if we are black or whites." That Michael Jackson line.
Yeah.
No idea what that is.
Really long band name.
I think it was just to mess with the judges, but I was like, nah, that's not punk rock. So I nixed it right there.
Yeah, there's nothing better for a battle of the bands than to go up and just confuse everybody right away.
Of course, yeah, that's gonna make you win.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, like I don't remember what band actually played.
Yeah, and so that to me sounds nervous. I definitely was. I think at this point in time, I think if you've ever seen me play, I'm not nervous. I think I feel like I
think you're a scared little baby, and you try and cover it up by rocking out too hard.
That's fair. That's very fair. That's very fair.
You're like nothing will hurt me as long as I'm moving super fast and doing a bunch of jumps.
And actually, I ended up hurting myself a lot. I just fell a little while ago. Actually, again, 20 years later, I'm still falling on stage.
Can't fall if you're staying on the couch.
Exactly.
That's how I've been living my life. Uninjured, unmoving.
But I didn't move that much there, so I didn't fall. Even my hat didn't even come off. That's how little I moved.
Yeah.
We did it. Chris's drums did not fall over. I know we played our original Sold My Soul. I know we played I Want to Get a Mohawk by AFI for a fact. I'm pretty positive we played She and Drink Drank Punk. She by the Misfits, Drink Drank Punk by Anti-Flag. And we did not make it.
Oh, you guys didn't make it into the...
We did not make it. They did not like us, and we didn't get in, and that was that. We were very sad.
They didn't like a bunch of 15-year-olds playing Drink Drank Punk for the Manhattan Beach Hometown Fair?
Yep.
I am stunned, and I am...
shocked.
Honestly, like, the level of gatekeeping that this city would put in front of a bunch of aspiring artists...
Right?
All they wanted to do was get on stage and play other people's music.
I don't even think
singing about getting drunk.
Couldn't have been the way we looked because I didn't even look that weird at that point.
Honestly, it might have been James wearing the bowling shirt.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe just like I don't like that kid.
There's something up with that kid.
Yeah,
get him out of here.
But yeah, so all that work, 3 years, we waited for another performance and we failed. But we did play our second show, 2001. And
just so I'm clear, the tryout for the hometown fair is the second show?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, to me, I count it. We went all the way over there. We performed for people. It's live. To me, that counts as a performance.
I mean, like, do you count every practice as a show?
No, although we did play in front of people a lot in high school, which is odd.
So we used to just like have people come hang out.
Yeah. I mean, we can split hairs. There's going to be a couple. If you want, you could say that you don't count this one. On that note, I will say I don't know. This may be after this point or it could be before. I don't know if you remember Gotham Guitars. It was right next to Guitar Center there around this time. They right when they opened, they were having an open mic night. Did you go with us with that?
I don't remember.
Maybe it was before
I would
that.
ask you.
Yeah. I know James and Sean and Chris were there. My dad made me play. I did not want to play. I couldn't sing at that point. I'd never sang except for like yelling background vocals at this show. So I went up by myself. I'm not counting this one. If you want to count this, then I'm going to have to renumber my whole list here.
Oh my God, I kind of want to make you do that.
I went up by myself and played an instrumental version of Santeria in front of the open mic night, which, if anybody's familiar with the reggae genre, a guitar by itself is very boring.
Just picture you doing Ricky.
I played the solo, but no vocals, no bass, no awesome drums to cover that up. That's I try to block that out.
Oh, so the shows only count if you count them.
I mean, to be fair, the first two were a train wreck as well. But
yeah, I mean, you could swap the numbers around. We'll call the the tryout. Technically, you were at a venue. You were playing for people.
Yep.
All right, I've come back around.
I was playing for people at that open mic. I just I don't know. I didn't put that on the list. I'm not exactly sure where, if it's 2 or 3, but that also happened to me, and I'm sad.
That's a thing that happened to me, and I prefer not to talk about it.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Isn't that why we're doing this? We're here to get into the nitty gritty.
We're bringing up all the things that we wish we didn't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
And but yeah, so that again, we're leaving this one on a cliffhanger.
Oh my God!
This is the only time that this lineup will have played together. At this point, the four of us live.
Oh, okay.
The two pairs of brothers never played together like that again.
Well, shit. No, I'm like really nervous.
I wonder what happened to make this lineup break up.
I guess we'll find out in the next episode.
In the next episode, you're gonna find out. But before we end, who's your MVP of this one?
Ooh. MVP is probably the poor people who had to judge the hometown fair, who were like, "We'll let some kids get up here and play," but they had to listen to every song. And you played 5 songs for your tryout.
I mean, to be fair,
I feel like they only needed to hear one.
Going forward, we did this a lot because they're punk songs and they're so short.
Yeah, you'd have like a 5-minute tryout.
We had like a 20-minute set, and somehow we played like 10 songs in the 20-minute set that we were allotted. We did that all the time.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk on stage, but yeah, I think that was our MO for quite a long time.
And like, hey, we want to see if you guys are good for the hometown fair. Come up and play for like 5 minutes. And you're like, 5 minutes? That's like 8 songs.
Forever. Yeah. Like we got this. Can play Sheath 30 times.
Yeah. Well, then my MVP is still the judges.
The judges, yeah.
Because if you guys didn't make it, imagine the other people that didn't make it, and
fair.
It probably was a bit of a day for those poor people.
I feel very bad. I don't know who they were, but they did have to endure us.
Actually, second thought: who are they to judge?
Also true. They don't get it. They don't get it.
All right, I take my MVP back. My MVP is me, who is in a different city, having nothing to do with any of this.
You might have already had something to do with this. We just didn't know it yet. It's already happened. But I guess my MVP, I'm gonna give it to Mike Cody. He made it. He made it that year. Rest in peace. His band made it into the hometown fair, and I went and saw him perform. And I remember seeing him at the show. I was a nice failed artist that year. I didn't make it, but I went and watched.
Yeah.
Wished I could have done. But
I do actually. I think that I saw Sticky Bandits play at the hometown fair.
Okay. So that
sounds very familiar. So All right. Well, you're gonna make me look like an asshole. I'm changing my MVP too.
To Mike. All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Rest in peace, Mike. He was always a very cool dude.
He was absolutely. And so that's episode 2.
In the books.
From here on out, somebody might have a little more to do with this.
Hey.
Over here, and definitely things pick up and get a lot funnier and more silly from this point on. So I might.
Why are those two things connected? Are they unrelated?
Or I just have an affinity for making your life a little worse, which you will see coming up.
And that's why we decided, like, hey, let's embark on this invaluable podcast together, because I'm getting too comfortable in my own skin.
Absolutely. No one's taking you down a peg. So for the YouTube viewers, you'll see this happening. But if there's ever like a silence all of a sudden in the middle of nowhere, I get to the point where I don't make sound when I laugh because I'm laughing so hard. And a good portion of the time, that feeling is evoked because of Mitch.
He's laughing at me.
So,
and for the audio, Spotify, whatever listeners,
you're gonna hear some silence.
You're gonna also hear a lot of,
because I'm gonna be
AJ's Italian and he can't stop gesturing with his hands.
Yeah.
So he's like clapping and snapping and pounding on the table. It's really good podcast content.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be part of the charm.
I dare say that this episode we did better than the first one.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even remember doing the first one. That was so long ago.
Well, that was, you already opened the what have you. Yeah. So
I only had one.
So yeah. So the next, it's only going to get better. It's only going to get more silly, more ridiculous, a little sad at times when things keep happening to us. But yeah, so get ready to laugh yourselves because it's going to get ridiculous. Yeah. 2 episodes. Yeah. Remember the Times podcast, episode number 2, out.
Like, share, subscribe, and stuff.